Mikuro, we greet you all. Mabufine Meto, B, greet all Africans. This is in the Agile phone language that we're speaking. We hope that this video uh, reaches you in supreme peace. We don't intend for this video to be really long. We like to be straight to the point. We're not lecturers or the stuff that's popular in the many of the red, black, and green and conscious circles, as they call themselves. I think they're using the term now, being woke. That's the same as conscious. We're not, and for the record, we're not knocking any people's efforts to learn more than what they've been trained to believe, especially when they're learning their African history and culture and whatnot. But that's just the thing right there. We have to put a pause right there, because a lot of it is not about culture. They may study many people may study cultural works, books that purport to be about culture, websites and whatnot. But this is not being put into practice most of the time. So it's not like they're really studying culture. It's really an intellectual exercise for unfortunately the majority of people that are calling themselves woke, conscious, bad law. Bad law in Yoruba, that's like etc. etc. It's like when you hear us say kata wakata. So we are Axosu Agelogbgan, the Ganlodo Axosu, the supreme monarch of the Maroon monarchy of Ganlodo. We use monarchy because kingdom is a European chauvinistic term. And we've had, especially in our particular lineage coming from Heavy, we had many women rulers, about 20, we believe, that governed. Matter of fact, the original monarchy of Heavy was founded by a woman named Ajara. What we want to talk about is this thing about black unity. We kind of were in we could say another, our own reality for a while. And, we didn't really deal with social media and a lot of other stuff for a while. We just working, was on the, continue, as we do now, continue on the work of Kilombo, restoration and healing, and building the monarchy of Ganlodo. So, we kind of plug back in, talk to people that may have been around these particular circles and whatnot. A few things have been shown to us on YouTube. You got a lot of stuff about black unity. And so we're confused, somewhat surprised to see the same argument, the same rhetoric, same argument, same stuff that has never worked continue to be propagated. So we're seeing a lot of people, they're calling themselves New Africans. They're doing videos. Looks like they know what they're talking about to people that don't really understand culture and whatnot. I mean, doing all kind of videos, crosses around their neck. I seen one brother claiming to speak for the New African concept. I mean, he had 2 crosses around his neck. So that's part of where we're going with it. So, wrote a few notes down here. The concept of black people unifying. Now, what happens in a lot of these cases of these videos, these people, they're saying that it doesn't matter what your religion is, long as we're New Africans. Katawataka. Then some want to unify under foreign religions. Here's the problem with that. That's not going to work. African people do not operate in that fashion when they are in their right mind. They unify under culture. This is the issue that a lot of these purported new Africans and RBG and even people that are in various African traditions, in the Bosonfie tradition, Akom tradition of the Akan, Isheshe of the Yoruba, and Vodun. They are taking a religious approach to this, and African people don't unify based on in a religious way. What people may call our quote unquote religion is intricately connected to our culture. If you don't have the culture of the Aja people, you don't have Vodun. If you don't have the culture of the Yoruba people, you don't have Isheshe. If you don't have the culture of the Igbo people, you don't have Odinani. And the list goes on. For some reason, after all these years, we thought these people would have figured it out, that we're not going to unify under foreign ideology or this non-ideology type of thing. Let's just all get along, and we're gonna unify based on nothing. Just we're the fact that we're New African. What is the culture of the New African? The New African. We totally agree with being New African. We practice Vodun. We live Vodun. But we are also New African Vodun. If you go to newafricanvodun.com, it redirects you to restorationhealing.com, which is probably maybe the site you're viewing this particular video on. So we've always been New African. But a New African still has an intricate and long past and culture to draw from. Because if you do it from a perspective of how a lot of the people are just saying they're just New African, that's like, you may as well be a communist or something. If you're New African without African culture, you have an empty shell. So let's take, for instance, the Asian people, in particular, let's say the Indians. Even the Chinese and the Japanese. Beneath everything that they do is their culture. That's what unifies them. They've even, and we definitely wouldn't agree with anything like this, but with the Chinese, really they're practicing a foreign religion too. By them calling themselves Buddhist, that comes from India. But they've kind of reworked it, and a lot of people don't understand, or they've forgotten that comes from India, and that Buddha character would never look like the one that is popular now. He looks like a Chinese. But even under that is culture. Some kind of way they were able to finagle that in. African people, we're not even. People have to understand the true makeup of the African. We don't unify under foreign religions. Look at Africa now. Look at African people in the Itankale, the so-called diaspora. Somebody else may be able to unify under foreign religions. We don't. We're not built like that. And I think once we understand that, truly understand that, we have to sit down and say, this makes sense. All this trying to unify under non-African religions or no ideology type of thing, it hasn't worked for us. It doesn't work for us. It's not a thing that we do. Before the internal rot kicked in my Wufe, we were unified under our cultures and whatnot. And that primary bottom spiritual expression also connected to the culture, was Vodun. Vodun being the oldest of our traditions. This is hands down, we won't say everybody knows that, but a lot of people know it. Even it's funny, a lot of Yovo know it, and a lot of Africans don't. A lot of Mawufe Numeto don't. Mawufe Numeto is an African person in the phone language. So when we say culture, we're not talking about just dressing. We're talking about the food choices, our primary food choices. You know, a lot of people in the RBG and New African circles and whatnot, some kind of way they've identified eating vegan or vegetarian as culture. You know, that's a thing that started with the Yovo, the European Yovo, basically in the late 60s and early 70s when they were doing that flower child, free for all type of thing. And they came with that, you know, they came with that influence, and a lot of Africans came in. There's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian if that's for your body type, or vegan if that's for your body type, and we say that for a reason, because we see a lot of people that are vegan and vegetarian, they're not healthy. They don't look good. They don't feel good a lot of times. A person usually becomes a vegan, vegetarian, or whatnot in our tradition, due to either, you know, things they can't eat, like so far as their body rejecting it, or taboos. You know, it may be a taboo for this person to eat red meat or fish. And the taboo thing is kind of complicated. We may even do a video on that, where we talk about it. We talk about it. We believe in the Vodun video series that you see on the site at restorationhealing.com. But so, you know, that's not culture. That's not ours. That could be an individual choice, but some kind of way it's like we've run into people that, you know, they'll look at a person sideways if they eat meat. You know, it's like, hey, you're conscious, and conscious and vegan, conscious and vegetarian go together, and that person that believes that obviously is not as so-called woke or conscious as they think they are, because they don't understand African culture. They don't understand that they are an African from the perspective of how that functions in your everyday life, and that's what we're talking about. Bottom line is this: the only way African people are going to unify is if we have true African culture at our base. This is not going to happen. We're not built like that. Our culture, our spiritual and physical DNA is not built to unify under anything but African culture. We know we have different traditions. All these are variations of Vodun. You know, now we could choose, let's say, you know, Vodun to be that one tradition that is our unifying factor. You know, and basically it is, you know, because if we use the word Vodun proper, we're talking about Aja people, Ewe people, Fon, and whatnot. And then when we say Isheshe, it sounds like we're saying something different, but we're really talking about a branch of all the same thing. You know, so you're still involved in Vodun if you're in Isheshe or the Akom tradition or Odinani. You're still involved in Vodun, and all of these traditions have way more in common than they have not in common. You know, different languages, which is a plus, because now we have various tools of language in the unified nation, if we chose to, you know, unify under African culture. So that's not a problem either. But one must make a conscious effort in their quest for, you know, liberation, sovereignty, whatever they want to call it, to use a particular language that can be, let's say, a national language. Our national languages are Aja, you know, Ajabe, primarily Fongbe, and Yoruba. This is what we speak at Ganlodo. Can there be a language that, if we all decide to unify with the Akan people, the Sheshe people, the Vodun people, can there be a common language? We can decide on that. We have a writing script that we actually borrowed from the Mande people, called Inko, created by Suleiman Kante in 1948. And we have adopted that as our writing system. So we have a national writing system. We have national languages that we speak. But we can tell you right now, there will be no unity of African people under non-African ideology or this no ideology type of attitude. You know, it's kind of reminds us of that universalism type of stuff. That doesn't work for African people. So, somebody that's watching this may get it. Well, they're gonna get it. There are gonna be some that get it. A lot of people, they're gonna battle what we're saying based on the fact that they, you know, in their heart of hearts, they want to believe that the lack of effort in employing culture, is a good thing, and that we can unify under something else. And what we want to ask is show us where that's been a success. Show us where that's been a success. You know, this can be done. You know, everybody has their lane, their pockets. You know, we mentioned the different traditions. You know, let's say they're unifying under the Khan culture umbrella. Some over here unifying under the Aja culture expression. But when we approach it from that perspective, like we're unifying under these umbrellas to bring all the umbrellas together for sovereignty or cooperation. You know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, somebody having an Akan kingdom over here, and we got a Aja kingdom over here. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not disunity, because if we use these monarchies, these cultures, in the proper way towards sovereignty, then we're going to want to collaborate. You know, so that's something to think about. We here at Ganlodo, our unification is under Aja culture and our ancient tradition of Vodun. That's simple. But once again, know that there will be no unification of African people under a non-ideology or a non-African ideology attitude. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Claiming you're New African, you got crosses and crescents around your neck, you know, Islamic oriented crescents. That's not New African. That's not New African. You're New African by default. You know, see, there's a difference between by default being an African or a New African because of the historical and geographical circumstances of your coming into being. That's by default. But to tout the New African moniker, to say that you're New African, what comes behind that also is culture. And so if you're in foreign religions, but saying you're New African, you're not New African. Not from a living perspective, like living that way of life. You're not. That's just what it is. So we hope you've got something from our video. Once again, we are Axosu Agelogbgan, Agbovi the First, the Ganlodo Axosu, the monarch of Ganlodo, which is a maroon monarchy, African only, for African people only. You can check out all our books and other videos at www.restorationhealing.com. restorationhealing.com. restorationhealing.com. And the name of the website is Kilombo Restoration and Healing. You can also get to us through newafricanvodun.com. newafricanvodun.com. African spelled with a K. We are in the process now of building our monarchy's website. That is gunlodokingdom.com. Gunlodo is Ganlodo kingdom.com. We believe you can type that in too, and it'll take you to Restoration Healing for now. All those other links lead you to Restoration Healing. It redirects, but soon we'll be using those other domain names to rebuild one of those domain names to rebuild the monarchy's website. Odigba.